Hi guys, and welcome to Angling For You, and to join me again at the fantastic Thornbank fisheries. There's so many fish here, we've got to do another video, and this video today is going to be short method feeder fishing. Now, the reason I'm doing this is because when I watch, I'm not going to put it on an age range, but multiple people turn up to ponds and they don't really want to be in and out doing crazy amounts of stuff. Short method feeder fishing. Now we're going to go around the tackle, because it's a little bit different, not the actual terminal tackle, but the actual physical rods and reels, and why I've chose what I've chose. And then we're going to mix this fantastic bait up from Outcome Baits, and hopefully we're going to have a few fish. Now bait wise, as I've just alluded to, we're going with Outcome Baits again. Like I said, the boys have sent me some fantastic stuff, and it's only fair to try them and keep using them while I've got them. So we're going with a method mix today. This is sweet vanilla fish meal, and we are going to jazz that mofo up, as you would expect, with some wild strawberry. I could have gone pina colada, I could have gone pineapple. We did pineapple last time. Oh, but it smells like strawberry bonbons. Oh man, I feel like I want to eat it, but like it's probably not a good idea to do. Again, these sealables, these bags are brilliant because they're all resealables. Zip. Oh, that smells mega. So you do get a whack of fish meal, but you do get that vanilla as well. So my thought process is simple as strawberries and vanilla, and strawberry and cream, that kind of thought process. So that's what we're going to go with. It's quite a blonde mix. I don't know what it's going to be like. It looks also like it's got some flecks of maize in there. I'm going to give it a good old glug of the strawberry. Oh, that smells like, honestly, it smells like strawberry bonbons. That's all we can say, boys and girls. So we're going to get that in there, and then we're going to go for a little bit of water to start. Bring that water in. And yes, in the comments, you can use a riddle to riddle this through, but I can't be asked, I'll be honest. I think this bait mixes up nicely, and then as soon as I start to get all the wet clumps in there, I just run them through my hands. I just tilt my bowl and just start running them through my hands. And to be honest, it's near enough similar to what a riddle does. No, it's not as good as a riddle, but for this shorting fishing with these carp, it's not really that much of a problem. But I tell you what, it smells like a mixture of strawberry bonbons and refreshers. Like when I used to do some for another bait years ago, and they used to have this like almost like K-Lye, and you used to add it to your maggots and smell a little bit like this. So it's starting to come together. I'm going to put a touch more water in it, not crazy amounts. It may need some a bit later on after. But that's nice that with the wind, with the wind, just had wind in my mind, with the bait being fished in quick succession on the bottom. I think that's going to be about perfect once it's had a little bit of time to rest. It's going to be perfect to go around a feed, and it's going to be a short chuck, and we'll go into that when we sit on the box. So let's go to that now and have a little talk about what we're doing. Right guys, so you can see straight away what the difference is, and that is the size of the rod. It is a tiny little beast. It is an 8-foot Carp King Browning wand, and to be fair, I've used it a few times. I use it in winter leagues for silvers, and I have done a video in the past, you know, fishing it short. Now, the reason we use this rod is that very simple reason. We're going to fish short, we're going to fish super short, we're going to fish in top kitten 2, which is over that line that we've just been using earlier on. 20 gram is the lightest feeder I've possibly got in here. The line is 4-pound Maxima in a little 2,500 reel. It's only a light setup. Now you can get stronger rods that are at this size, and if you are catching ridiculous fish, or you're a bit uneasy on playing fish and playing with drag and stuff, then maybe that might be the next step up from you. The reasons, like I said in the start, the reasons I'm doing this today is some people just want to chill out. They just want to sit on a box or sit in a chair. They want to throw the feeder not very far distances. They might not be capable of throwing it far distances, but they still want to catch those good fish. And this is what this video is about. We're going to fish that fantastic outcome baits on the method or hybrid banjo, and we're going to use an 8mm pellet. But the difference is today we're not going to stick the pellet inside. We're going to start off putting the pellet next to it, and the attraction will be the ground bait, and the pellet is on a 4-inch link right next to it. And I'm not going to put it inside to start off with. I may do, but when I've fished short, I've done better where I don't do that. And I just, because once you get some bait introduced into the peg, the bites come quick and they can just pick the bait straight up. And the method mixture ground bait base is there for the attraction. I will be throwing probably some 6mm over the top by hand. This is optional. I just feel like it'll get some fizz going in the peg, and a little bit of extra attraction. If you're not capable of doing this, you might want to do it with a catapult. If you want to do it by hand, if you can do it, it can be a deadly method, short method. So let's get to it. I swear, all I can smell on my hand is this amazing ground bait. So the setup, the drag is set soft and I can tighten it up. Like I said, I've got 4-pound line here, so I don't want to be absolutely panning it with tight line. I'm going to have that line nice and light on the drag, and they can swim away if they want, and then I can tighten up as we go on. Now the cast is a bit unique. We haven't clipped up or anything like that. This is purely just around the area that we're fishing, and I'm going to pick the same marker that I fished with earlier on. And this also is interesting. You can see the wind coming across. Now that also could make it difficult if you're not so confident on the pole, or you're fishing a waggler and it's getting blown across. This is another reason that you've been putting bait in and you could fish over the top. So I'm going to use the same marker of the corner of the reeds as where I was fishing earlier on with the pole. That enables me to throw around the area of where we've been baiting. It makes no sense to start a completely new place if I knew that I were catching from there, and I felt it was a difficult because of the wind or whatever. And then we can throw this. If you're just starting, pick a place that you feel comfortable and a distance you feel comfortable with, and then you can throw it easily to it. Now, like I said, it's only top kitten 2, so it's not far. So what we're doing is I've got the line out of the bail arm. I'm just going to gently pendulum swing it, nothing crazy hard because you don't need to go far, and then just a lean forward and a drop. That's all I'm going to do. Let the line come out, sink the line like you would do normally to a feeder, put it on your rest and tighten up as you normally would. It's as simple as that. Don't overthink what you need to do. Now we tighten that up, and now I'm just going to put over just a rough handful of pellets just to start getting things going. I don't know how quick the bite's going to be, whether we'll have to wait for them, whether the fish are there. What I will tell you is when you're fishing a venue like this, and it's a commercial venue especially, it's best to try and introduce some bait. And also, although I said don't be busy, you don't have to be as busy as other methods. You really do want to not be leaving it more than sort of 3 or 4 minutes before putting another set in it. If you've had no fish in probably the first 10 chucks, maybe you can start to leave it a little longer. But we're talking in summer, in prime summer in a commercial, I would expect to have seen a sign within at least 10 chucks, definitely within 10, probably within 5. Like I say, I have no idea what response we're going to get. If I feel like we're not getting it, I feel like we might need to put the ground bait, the pellet in with the ground bait, then we may go to doing that. What I will tell you though is I am going to lower this, because if you've noticed it's quite high away from the water, and when you're fishing a feeder, you want to try and be lower to the water like that. That's about spot on as we can get. Just make sure it's tight. Not only does it give you the more accurate bite, that you can see the bites better, not only is it better for that, it's easier to pick up as well. And that's just literally right next to the water, that. And we're getting little knocks on it, but like I said, I don't know how they're going to react to it, or will they react to the pellet being outside of the bait. I don't know. If it becomes crazy and I see loads of liners and they're just attacking the feeder, then I may just move the pellet into the feed. Sometimes you get crazy liners, and that might be that they're just attacking that feeder and not looking at your pellet. If that's the case, like I said, I will put the pellet inside of the feeder and then make it more accessible. But I do feel that if it's next to it, there's a good chance it's going to be picked up. And we're coming up on that sort of 2 minutes now where that's been in. Whether you use a stopwatch or you do what I do and just check your watch, or just do a rough guesstimation, but 2 minutes is not a long time. Right, I'm confident now that that's enough time there. Two minutes for me. So I want to get some more bait out there. And I'm not compacting it crazy. I want it to stay on the feeder to get to the bottom, but I'm not casting it to the other side, so I don't need to compact it crazy. And again, that's sink that line. It's not far away. It's not far away, so you don't need to go crazy. You just want to nip that. Oh, a big liner there. This is also something that you can use to good effect down the edges as well. If you're struggling with a lot of liners down the edge, you know, you can throw a feeder down the edge. And this may be something that we trial down this edge, because it's been pretty solid down there. We're getting plenty of liners, so there's fish around, but I do think we may need to put that pellet inside of the feeder. And don't worry about all these little bites like this. That's a proper bite. All these other little tip-tap things, don't need to worry about those. And you see, I've got a little bit of a drag on, but it's not ridiculously tight. And these little rods are so much fun to play fish on. It's a nice fish to start, actually. There's so much strength in them, and these little rods. I've caught some good old fish on these, I tell you. I've had some well into double figures, even with this 4 pound line. And people sometimes say to me, "Oh, like 4 pound line, 5 pound line." It's all about balance. I'm casting a long way and I'm catching big fish, you know, Allcroft and things like that, then yeah, I'm going to step that up, especially if I'm casting a long way. And that's a great fish to start. But this is what I mean. This is the kind of fish that you can pick up that are just fishing sat short. And that is a whopper fish to start off. It's a mega fish to start off, that is. And he's hooked perfectly in that top lip. A bit of slack there, and we're hooked right in the scissor. There we go. I don't know if he's going to behave himself. We'll have a little go and see if he behaves himself. Put that there. But they are notorious for not staying still in this venue, and I don't want to injure any of them. Just going to get my finger behind his anal fin. And there we go. What a start. Great fish. Let's get him back nice and safe. And just repeat that process and straight onto that outcome bait. Two casts that was. 2 genuine casts, nothing done beforehand. And look how easy that little rod just handled that fish. We're not ragging it about. And these quality fish can sit there. You've got less chance of foul hooking them because you're not fishing a rod. The bait's stationary. But what I am going to do is I'm still going to leave this bait out. That was only second drop, and we got a good hook up there, perfectly hooked in top lip. So we are going to keep that bait out of the lip, out of the feeder, and then get that, and hopefully get those nice hookups again. So again, just that nice pendulum motion, lean forward, let that sink, and then onto the rest. Get a little bit of tension on there, pick up that slack. There we go, lovely. And then I'm hoping once these fish start coming, I'll get thick and fast. Feeder again, I think just sat for a little liner. Doesn't matter if it goes round and holds round, then you're well within the right to strike. You can always kind of build the peg, so we're gonna you think the carp will soon switch on to this flavour of food. It's, oh, that's a proper bite, that one. That were that were, I reckon, a liner, that one. Just done me uplink on that one, so we'll get another uplink tied and we'll get back at it. So we're back. We had a little kink in the line there, and that resulted in a little break off. Hopefully we're sorted now. Happens to us all. So we'll get back straight on that line. We're into another one now. That was a round and then a drop back. Nice little bite. I don't think it's a particularly big fish, this one. No, it looks like one of those ghosted mirrors. He's in. They do go absolutely ape. These fish really do not know when to bait. Right in the corner of the mussel. There we go. And he's in, back in the water. Right, let's get another a good bait on. And Glyn's bagging a few big ones down the edge at the side of us. I think Phil's into one as well. All kicking off. This time I'm going to put the bait inside and see if that makes any difference. So just on the top of the first skin, and then we skin it again, and then just see if that makes a difference to how quick, because we're getting quite a few liners where they're hitting the ground bait. Put that pellet in there, maybe we'll hit that a little bit earlier. We'll soon find out. Get some pellets over the top, and really this time of year you can't really feed that too much. It's in the afternoon now, which is always the craziest part of the day. You're in 2.5 to 3 foot of water tops. There we go. It's a lovely bite again. A little bit of drag, soft drag at the start. Such easy, pleasurable fishing. No strenuous, reliable casts that you have to cast out right in front of you. You know, if you just want an easy day's feeder fishing, short method is what you want. Always let a bit of line out, give you something to work with, trap it underneath you. See where he is. All of these ones have absolutely rinsed the bait. That's what we want. See if we can get another one, and then what we'll do is have a little talk about the rig and the setup and go through that a little bit in close. But we'll see if we can have another one first. And what we might do is adapt the session to fish that short, but we might feed up this left hand margin that we fished earlier on. We might do a little bit of method margin fishing as well. It's always a bit of fun. As I'm watching Glyn dominate this margin to my right. And again, a lovely bite again. You see, it's just so calm and relaxed. The only thing I will say with smaller rods, which can be a little bit more difficult, is when they're getting close. So we're going absolutely berserk because they do come up close to you. So a lot of time these little rods are aimed at F1 fishing, but they can do really well in obviously this situation as well. Now what crazy run that did there, but oh, perfectly in the lip again. That's a nice looking one as well. And there's nice looking chunky commons hooked in that lip. And the positive of using this size 12 is obviously it's easy to get in and out, and it gives a good hook hold. They're not bothered you're fishing an 8mm pellet. Size 12 is all day what you need. Right, let's get up close and personal and have a look at this rig. Right, so the rod, like I said, it's a Carp King wand, 8 foot. Little Carp King reel on there. Oh, it's actually a Black Magic reel, it's not a Carp King, I'm lying to you. It's only a small little thing though. It's a little mini 320. You can see the hybrid Preston Innovations inline, 20 gram. We've got a small 4-inch hook link down to an MTX 1, I think it is, I can't get to it because I've got my thing on, hook, and a medium band for that 8mm pellet, 4-pound Maxima, and that's it. She's small, she's nimble, very very light, very very strong, and just perfect really. Would I want to catch 20 pounders? Probably not, but for this kind of fishing and with that soft setting and the soft drag, you know, you can land some really good fish on it. We'll give another couple of chucks in front of us, and then we've got to, won't we, go down that edge and see if we can catch something down there. So let's just jump back on, and fingers crossed we can have another fish. We're ready to rock and roll. We're going to give it another fish in front, and then we're going to try using this same method to catch down the edge. Fingers crossed we're able to have one. So it's very difficult when you're not experienced on a feeder fishing to not strike when your tip's moving like this all the time. Unless you're fishing for silvers, that ain't a bite. They're liners, especially if they're quite sort of forward back bites. If you're fishing maggots and things like that, then yeah, you probably is a bite. But when you're fishing for carp with an 8mm pellet, and you've got, you're throwing feeding and things around it, that's going to be line bites. So you don't need to strike at any of them. You just want to wait for it to whoosh straight off, or if you're fishing at distance, you slack off on your tip. Gullen is absolutely emptying it out of that margin. And to be honest, I on the video previous, which you've probably seen, actually we can talk about it because you'll have watched it because it'll have been up first. As you saw from us, we absolutely emptied it also down that edge, and now obviously we're going to have a little go with the method feeder. And there we go again. This is where you got to be ready. It's in the rest. so you don't pull it off the rest. These strong bites, these carp, they don't mess about. So you got to be ready. It's not even a big fish, this one, and often the crazy bites like that are often the smaller fish. It's very often not the case, and it's one of those little commons again. I mean, it's not little, you know, it's not little. I say little, it's about 3.5, 4 pounds to be honest. But I think it's so shocked that it's been hooked, and this is how effective it can be. It's clearly closer to 4 pounds. It might even be 5. But they're just so shocked that how quickly they get hooked that they can't. They're done and out. And when you have a rod, obviously, you've got a little slightly more strength with a rod than you have when you're fishing a pole. Let's just put this out of the way a second. Get him back. What we'll do now is I'm just going to move the camera, I think, and move my rest so we can get a better angle to try and fish down that little edge. I need my rest around here a little bit, and we'll talk about that when we get back on it. Right guys, so we are going to fill up this feeder, and we're going to go down the chaos of just dropping it down this this reed, down this edge. It's going to be I would think bedlam, so we're going to put it on the ledge like we fished in the other video. We're going to fish just straight on the slope. We've got obviously move the rest now so you side on to where you're fishing. You should always try and get at least some sort of angle to where you're going, if you can help it, that is. Don't have to be as aggressive as that angle, but if you can do it, why not? And it'd be nice if we could at least grab 1 or 2 decent fish. There might be some bigger ones that do come down there. Sorry, I was just going to look up some pellets to throw in then, and I saw it twitch. But this is a perfect scenario that with the wind. As you can see, the wind's starting to pick up a little bit. We can fish that stationary down that edge with no worries, and you know that'll stay in situ. Whereas obviously your bait or your pole, especially a waggler, it'd be a bit more difficult. Glenn's just telling me he's had a little bit of a calamity with his rig. That's what happens in margin fishing, unfortunately. Sometimes there's casualties. I'm hoping once we get the fish back here and feed him, we'll hopefully get a couple going. I mean, we were starting to get a few going there. You know, I could stay on it longer, but you know, with us trying to do a video, you can see how effective it can be by the fish that we've already caught. And that has some with the outcome baits as well, because the outcome baits smell unbelievable, so that is a high attraction with how sweet and nice they are. I ain't going to give it much longer. You know, I'm just going to big liner, but that pulled round fast, so sometimes you do have to strike it. But I wasn't going to give it much longer anyway. Keep that bait, introduce him. They haven't had any of this bait yet, they've only had pellets, so it is a different thing. Sometimes you could fish soaked micros. I ain't got any of those, but you could do that, and that would probably do you quite well as well on a method or hybrid or pellet feeder. they do like that splash. They do like the noise of that, them pellets going in. There we go. Didn't take very long. Didn't take very long at all. Again, not a particularly massive fish, but when you're fishing, it's about catching fish, and you catch one after another, nice and easy. And on top of that, not only is it easy catching them on this rod, you can get them in a little bit quicker than you can on a pole. It's easy to reload. You're not throwing things miles and miles and miles. Just a nice, enjoyable, relaxing way to fish either a short in front of you or down your edge margin style method. Some fish there now. Wow, that were a proper bite, and that's why you have it on a rest, and tight on a rest, because that was an absolute proper bite. It's another one of those lovely common carp. I'm a good stamp these, and you just keep catching these. You'd have an absolute net full, you would, if you kept these going. Ouch. Whacking me. Let's give it one more to try and finish the video. See if there's a proper run down there. I know there's been them swimming in and out, so let's see if there's one there. Big line of that. There we go, we're in again. Trying to shake that feeder off. You can see that if you watched my video where we fished the margin with a pole. You can see how much quicker you can get them in with a rod. Like straight in. And that's an actually nice one to finish on, is that one actually. Ooh, there we go. Put that down here. It's a lovely fish to finish on. Not the most attractive, but a good size. Just let a bit of line out. There we go. The hooks come out in the net, absolutely perfect. See, a nice stamp to finish with, and you can see absolutely how deadly that can be. And you know, we've seen there straight onto the ones in front, straight onto the ones down the edge. Hopefully it's give you a little bit of an idea of something new to try, and if you're not wanting to do all this pole fishing and other bits and bobs and you just want to relax a little bit more, then maybe this is for you. If you could join us on the Facebook group, it's completely free to join. You can ask questions, post your photos, just genuinely nice people on there. If you want to go on the Instagram, it's angling_official. Come in again if you want to share photos with us or want to see what we're up to, you can have a look on there. And if you can like, share and subscribe, that'd be fantastic. Share this video with your friends. And until the next one, guys, thank you very much for watching. Tight lines.